We're getting some questions in now on Instagram and different platforms. And one of the questions we've had from Libis McGuinness, hi Libis, is, has priesthood been all that you've expected? And I think that's a really, really good question. And it's quite a deep question. And I kind of think, how can I answer that question in to give a rounded sort of explanation. So first of all, yes, it has been everything I've expected, but more. So being a priest is such a privilege. You're so part of people's lives, and people come to you when they're feeling really vulnerable, and that's such a huge privilege. And that's sort of been more maybe than I've ever expected, that to be there, not in a kind of, I don't need people to be needing me, but it's a real privilege when they do need you. And for me, that's been something, probably much more than I expected. And that way people trust you and take you to themselves and take you into their hearts. That's been something I've really been bowled over by as a priest, and continue to be bowled over by every time it happens. So priesthood in that respect has been much more than I expected. I think being a representative of God has been much more than I expected as well. The responsibility that's laid upon me by the Lord, I find quite awesome, that he's picked me. In John's Gospel, Jesus says, "You have not chosen me, I have chosen you." And I just believe that to the depths of my being, because I would not choose me to be a priest. But God has chosen me, and I'm just indebted to him for the privilege he's given me of serving him and his church. On a kind of human level, maybe more human level, has priesthood been everything I've expected it to be? Sometimes I get really frustrated with the church, because I think it could just be a whole lot better. I mean, a whole lot better. I think there's a lot of people around the world now feeling that, but I felt that for years. It's just not together. Often, diocesan structures focus mainly on, administration, building work, getting the heating working, getting the fire alarms working, but it doesn't really seem to be that passionate about, spreading the gospel, talking about Jesus, changing people's lives with the power of the gospel, which is what I'm all about. That's why I want to be a priest, is so people can get to know Jesus who has changed my life. I want them to know he can change their life as well. So it's kind of all, I think that could really be developed by the church in a very positive way. And I think we're making steps towards that, but I think there's quite a long way for us to go. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. Do you think the church is doing enough to talk about Jesus, to spread the name of Jesus? Or do you think the church is a bit wrapped up in administration, in buildings and stuff? It might not be to you, and I'd love to hear what you think. You might have a completely different take than me on the priesthood and on the church.